ha! Simon says to watch this review and subscribe to Caleb Watches Movies. Ha ha ha! Die Hard with a Vengeance, released in 1995 and is directed by John McTiernan, who has also directed such films like Predator, the first Die Hard, The Hunt for Red October, and Last Action Hero. And this film is starring Bruce Willis, Samuel L. Jackson, Graham Greene, Colleen Camp, Larry Brigman, Sam Phillips, and Jeremy Irons. And the reason why we're talking about Die Hard with a Vengeance today is because it was a PayPal recommendation and donation from one of my long-term subscribers and supporters of this channel, Dr. Camp. You sent in your recommendation of Die Hard 2, so here we are with Die Hard 3. If any of you out there also want to be like Dr. Camp and help support me and contribute to this channel, or if you have a movie recommendation for me, you can select the PayPal link that is on the homepage of my YouTube channel, and you can send me any size donation that you want. Attach your movie recommendation with your donation, and if I have access to it, I will watch it, review it, and give you a little shout out just like what I did with Dr. Camp here. And this is a movie where I think it takes a little bit to find its footing and takes a little bit to get going, but then once we get into the heart of the scenes and the heart of the situation, this film just takes off and it's an absolute blast. John McClane is now a washed up, beat up old cop whose wife has recently left him, but for some reason is being called upon to perform outlandish tasks by the operator of recent terrorist activities in New York City, someone calling himself Simon. And on one of these events, John McClane looks like he's gonna be beaten up by local tenants of a neighborhood until local store owner Zeus comes over and saves him. Now Simon wants both McClane and Zeus to go on this little wild goose chase, all while Simon tries to rob New York City blind. And I love the concept of this movie. This person calling himself Simon, he's playing the game Simon Says, and he tells them, hey, you gotta be at this payphone by this time, this day, or else I'm gonna blow up either that area or another area, a school with a bunch of children in it. I love that. I love it that it's not a situation where John McClane just kind of accidentally finds himself in. No, this person wants it to be John McClane going on basically this Easter egg hunt. But because buddy cop films became all the rage kind of in the mid-80s and still going into the mid-90s, they wanted to make this a buddy cop film, so they add in the character of Zeus played by Samuel L. Jackson, who's just a great addition to this franchise. I don't think they ever brought him back. I really hope they would. I haven't seen the fifth Die Hard, but I'm holding out hope that one day I'll watch that movie, even though I heard it had terrible reviews. Maybe one day I'll watch it, and maybe Zeus will show up, and it'll just make me happy. Probably not, though. But what a concept, and I absolutely love it. Jeremy Irons, I think, is a great villain, who I believe is the older brother of Hans Gruber from the very first Die Hard film, so here he is. Simon Gruber. Not the best German accent, I think, or at least it sounds very weird coming from Jeremy Irons' voice, who just has this raspy, almost robotic sounding voice. I can't really describe it. He's Scar from Lion King. It's the Scar voice. That's who he has. He has the Scar voice. Yes, he had the voice before he played the role of Scar, but ever since, it's the Scar voice. He has Scar's voice. And technology still hasn't fully caught up to the 90s yet. People are still using payphones. And I love that we're incorporating it still into this franchise. Just the use of payphones. Ah, what a time. And I also love the character arc of the police force in this film, because we get the first two Die Hard films, and whoever's the person in charge of the police force is always like, get McClane out of here, we don't like him, he's a hothead, he's gonna ruin everything. Here, and I guess the police didn't really have a choice, but here, they're listening to McClane, they're listening to Zeus, they're going along with what they're saying, they're taking his suggestions. And I'm like, it's a breath of fresh air seeing a police force kind of go along with our action hero cop. Like, okay, you guys are working together. See how great this is? Now, I did say at the beginning of this review that this movie takes a little bit getting going. There's a couple of weird editing choices in here. Like the introduction of our hero, John McClane, we don't see him for the first, 5-7 minutes until Simon gets on the phone saying, I want McClane. McClane, put him on the phone. I need to talk to McClane. And then the next scene is just them riding in the back of a police truck, and there's John McClane in a wife beater, and he's hungover, and he's just there. Just, I'm drunk. I'm a beat up cop. I suck. No cool, action hero introduction, no transition, no cool, panning shots or anything. It's just, next scene, cut, and there he is. okay, I can see the intention behind it of making McClane out to be like a beat-up old cop or just an old drunk or someone who's just past his time. I get the intention, but just in the flow of this film, it felt off to me. It felt wrong. And then on top of that, I guess the bookends of this movie are weird because the ending fight scene with the helicopter and they find out where the hidden fortress is, it felt tacked on. It felt like there was not enough resolution with somewhere in the writing process, and they're like, oh, we need something, so here it is, we're gonna kill the guy, okay, we're done, credits. The credits are rolling. So if you take the bookends off of it and you just look at the main meat of this film, I think it's great. I think this is the second best in the franchise. I haven't seen Die Hard 4 in a very long time, and like I said, I haven't seen Die Hard 5 yet, so maybe eventually I'll get around to watching those for this channel. I know I will. Eventually I will. Maybe some of you out there will recommend it for me with a PayPal donation. And I'll give you a little shout out, just again, another shameless plug from Caleb here on this channel and on this review. The movie is thrilling, and the tasks that Simon gives the buddy cops to do and to get from one side of New York City to the other side within like 25 minutes in New York City traffic, a lot of the situations I feel like, oh, you gotta be a New Yorker to know what they're talking about, or you have to live in New York to get all like the jokes and the references of what's going on, but we get the sense, I think people who don't live in New York City, we get the sense like, oh, okay, traffic really sucks. That's kind of an impossibility of what they're saying for him to do. But they get there, so it's cool. And there's a lot of foreshadowing. There are a lot of lines in here, subtle little lines in here, that do clue you in on who these people are and what their intentions are and what their final projection is for what they're trying to do. They're claiming that they have placed a bomb to go off at one point by 3 o'clock, I think, in a school. It's going to kill a whole bunch of children. But then there's a little tiny, like, a side line that one of the henchmen says that, oh, if we leave this bomb here, it's going to kill children. So it's like, well, you have a problem with killing children there, but you don't have a problem with placing bombs in a school with children. And it plays into that final little sequence with the school, and I really enjoyed that. Just tiny little Easter eggs just being dropped all throughout this movie, and I love finding that. It felt like it was a detective story for me, trying to find out, just as our heroes were trying to find out what's going on as they're going through all the crazy action pieces. John McClane, though, has the best luck out of any police officer ever. He just finds himself in these situations all the time. Just great. Bruce Willis is fantastic. Samuel L. Jackson is great. Jeremy Irons, I think, is a lot of fun. And this is one of the best Die Hard films out there, second behind the original Die Hard. There's no touching that one, of course. But this one is definitely a must-watch if you're a fan of this character and if you're a fan of this franchise. I'm gonna give Die Hard with a Vengeance 4 out of 5 Blu-rays.
I like it a lot.
So guys, if you've seen Die Hard with a Vengeance, what did you think about it? What is your ranking of all the Die Hard films? Whatever you thought, comment below, let me know what you thought about it. And as always, if you like what you see here, if you like my take on movies, then hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit that bell. See you the next time I'm releasing next movie review. So guys, I will see you next time on the channel, but in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.